All right, now guys, in part one of the South Carolina State recruiting class video, I showed you the offensive side, especially some of the stars who I think is going to be big time, maybe even next level to the NFL once their careers at South Carolina State is over with. Now I'm going to show you guys the defensive side. This video took longer than expected. A lot of you guys were in the comment sections or in the lives and everything asking, when's the part two going to come out to the South Carolina State defensive recruiting class video? So here it is. And this defense, as excited as I am for the offense, this defense has quite a few kids who are going to turn South Carolina State's defense into, I don't want to make a projection, but I would say they would be pretty much locked down. But the first kid I want to start off with is one of my favorite prospects in the entire 2022 recruiting class for HBCUs. That goes for any school, right? And he goes by the name of Marquis Bradley, the 6'1", 200-pound corner from Gaffney High School. Gaffney is a legendary high school in the state of South Carolina. They always put out D1 talent, NFL talent. So listen, Marquis Bradley at 6'1", 200 pounds, he's a DB. And he runs a 4.4 40. He runs a 4.4 in the 40-yard dash, right? This kid is gifted with great speed. On top of that, he has an amazing wingspan, right? Which gives the receivers no chance in 50-50 ball situations. I feel like I'm repeating myself because I've talked about this kid so much, but it's true. Like, he has the most potential to me, the most pro potential to me. On top of that, right? Great ball tracking. Right, really good back pedal. Sometimes when you're 6'1", when you're taller as a defensive back, it's kind of harder to get low and back pedal. No, he's able to do so. So great back pedaling, impressive feet. And when he gets developed, because we know South Carolina State can do it, when he gets developed, you're going to be looking at a kid who is going to be in the HBCU Legacy Bowls, who is going to be a Senior Bowl invite or East-West Shrine Bowl invite. He's going to be drafted because he has the size. He has the size. So, and he has the talent also, but that size and his ability is what sticks out to me. So I'm very excited for Marquis Bradley whenever he steps on the field. Just remember that name. So next up, we got Jayden Jones, the 3-star outside linebacker from Camden County, Georgia. Now remember, a lot of people were saying, like, South Carolina State doesn't really get stars like that. That's starting to change because they've won that Celebration Bowl, and now recruits are coming to them and saying, we're interested to play for your program. So Mr. Jayden Jones is one of the few stars that they have in their class, right? 3 stars, 6'3", 215 pounds. All he does is make plays. He's uber athletic. And he always has a nose for the football. He's a very hard hitter, right? Just brute force when he comes downhill. He's a game wrecker type of outside linebacker. He is the guy who I imagine they want to replace B.J. Davis, which is a current draft pick that they have, who's only a redshirt sophomore, but he's going to be a draft pick by the time he leaves. So I'm imagining he's that guy. They want to keep that momentum going that they have at the linebacker position, and Jayden Jones can do that. Do I think he could be a year one starter? Maybe, maybe not. But when he steps on the field, however, you're going to see a dominant force at that outside linebacker position. So Jayden Jones, coming from Camden County, which is also another well-known high school in Georgia, look for him to really set the stage for that South Carolina State defense when he steps on the field. Now, another kid, one of these kids in the class who I think can make an immediate impact right away is Mr. Makaya Settles from AC Flora High School. AC Flora High School is another big school in South Carolina that puts out tremendous talent. Now, you look at his size at 6'1", and you think, okay, he's not really that tall for the position of defensive tackle, but wait until you see this kid's film if you're not already watching it already. See, he's 6'1", 260 pounds, and he's an all-state defensive tackle. What I love about Makaya Settles is that Makaya is truly it's truly beautiful to watch his tape, right? Like, I love how aggressive he gets. I love how low he stays. I love how he sheds blocks. I love how he's always in the backfield making a tackle. Sometimes when you're on the smaller end, you have to find better ways to wreak havoc in the backfield, and he does that, right? His technique is like unlike any other. And I love the fact that he finds ways to win when his height isn't an advantage. I love it about him. He's a kid with tremendous upside, a kid who I think can contribute along with another defensive lineman who's coming up on his list as well. Tremendous upside, one of the best defensive linemen in the state of South Carolina in his class, right? And he used to play offensive line, crazy enough. So even if you need him to do so at the college level, which I doubt it, but if you needed him to do so, he can do it. So it's just so much upside with him. Now, next up, we got experience on the table. Mr. Xavier Kelly, the 6'3", 265-pound defensive tackle from Southwest Mississippi Community College. He is a guy who can come in and contribute right away and be a part of that unstoppable force on that defensive line, led by Mr. Jablonski Green now. Before, South Carolina State doesn't really have a history of going to get JUCO guys. That's just not what they do. The recruiting budget isn't as big as other schools, and that's an understatement, but they went out and they got him. They got Xavier Kelly. And I love this pickup because Xavier is very dynamic, right? He's a guy who I think used to play on the offensive side of the ball as well. And then he turned himself into a powerful run-stopping defensive tackle. Yeah, he used to play offensive line. He turned himself into a great defensive tackle, right? And he's a guy who has decent size and who's going to come in. Him, Jablonski, they're going to wreak havoc on MEAC offenses. I love this. He's a right-away contributor, a day-one contributor. And I love that for Coach Pugh. They're keeping this momentum going. Next up, we're going to keep this thing rolling. Mr. Jordan Watkins, the 6'2", hard-hitting safety, from Grimsley High School in North Carolina. That's right. They went out into North Carolina A&T's backyard and got not one, but two guys from Grimsley High School. The other one should be coming up in this list as well. So Jordan Watkins, he's a tackling machine. That's what he is. He's a tackling machine. Also enough, this kid has a 4.1 GPA. He's a part of the National Honor Society. Not only are you getting a great athlete on the field, but you're also getting a kid who can bring the reputation of South Carolina State up even further, right? You're always looking for high character, high quality guys. That's what Jordan Watkins is. He's a guy who you can be proud of, who's going to win awards on the field as well as off the field as well. That's a flex. That's a flex. You know, like, college programs, they want great athletes, but they also want great young men as well to represent them off the field. Jordan Watkins does that. So can't wait to see Jordan Watkins suit up for the game, not Gamecocks, but the Bulldogs, whenever that is. Now, going back to that defensive line, Mr. Carnell Jones, 6'3", 260 pounds, defensive tackle from Somerville High School, the same high school as Shaquan Davis, the star receiver for South Carolina State, right? Another staple big high school in the state of South Carolina, right? Legendary. Like AJ Green comes from there. There's a lot of kids that come from Somerville High School. With Carnell, he's a guy who people in the South Carolina State program even think can come in and contribute in his freshman season. Like, he can really be the day one contributor. Because, see, with him, he's very, very powerful. And I even think he can make an immediate impact. What I love about him is that he is a disruptor, and he flashes the speed. He flashes the hand placement. He flashes the, what's the word I'm looking for? The intangibles, the fundamentals to play the position. And he's always using that little swim move, getting out there. He's in the backfield. But at the very least, he's going to disrupt your play. At the very least. And that's why I really like this kid. I think I had an opportunity to speak to him on social media. It was one of these kids, but I really do feel like it was Carnell. Carnell is a guy who Jablonski, Makaya, Settles, those guys together can really be something special for that defensive line position. So, you know, South Carolina State is really building something special with this defense. I love this defensive class so far. So then you go and you get Quantre Thompson. Quantre Thompson is a 6 foot, 225-pound edge rusher from Greensboro, North Carolina. Also, the second kid from Grimsley High School, who they took from North Carolina A&T's backyard. Now with Quantre, he's a Metro 4A Defensive Player of the Year, 3-star prospect. He was recruited by Power Fives as well. Some of them offered, some of them different. But Quantre had his pick of the litter. Coastal Carolina wanted him. Appalachian State wanted him. Charlotte offered him. Georgia State offered him. He could have been playing in the Sun Belt right now, but he chose South Carolina State. And keep in mind, Coastal Carolina, Appalachian State, Charlotte, Georgia State, those are all schools who get professional looks for their kids and are putting kids in the NFL just as well as South Carolina State is. So he really could have been in a place where he's on national television a lot more throughout the season. He chose South Carolina State because he's one of the kids who said that he wanted to make a difference. He's seeing the surge of talent to HBCUs and he wanted to be a part of it, especially when he had that interview on HBCU Game Day. Keeping it rolling, we got Mr. Xavier Mitchell Brown. He's the latest commit in the South Carolina State defensive class for the 2022 class. He is from Somerville High School, right? Another linebacker. He's a tackling machine. Let me just run his stats to you. 76 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 4 forced fumbles, and an interception. So clearly he has a nose for the football and he knows where to be on any given play. Also, what I love, he's also best friends with Carnell Jones, the defensive tackle we just talked about from Somerville High School. So he's going to be playing with him. This is what I mean when I say it's a benefit for South Carolina State to recruit in-state as much as they do. A lot of these kids know each other. They play against each other. They play with each other, right? So the chemistry is there for the most part, and you just keep building upon that to where they really believe that they're a family. That's what they push in their program, and it's true. These guys really are family. So when you play them, it's not going to be as easy as you think because these guys are as tight-knit as they come. Now, we almost done, right? Few more. Patrick Anderson, going back to the DBs because we haven't really talked about them in a little minute. We was going over all these linebackers and defensive tackles. So Patrick Anderson, 6'1", 185, a legitimate ball hawking defensive back. Oh, he's a ball hawk. And what I love about South Carolina State is that these DBs they're going after for the most part are over 6 feet. They getting big at that position. I wonder how you're going to stop it, right? So listen, 6'1", 185, a legitimate ball hawk, right? Trust me when I say that. Great instincts. He comes from Lamar High School, which is the same high school that Mr. Jacoby Durant came from himself. You know who Jacoby Durant is, the star cornerback for South Carolina State, who has been invited to the NFL Combine, who's going to be in that, right? Who's going to be drafted, who, if he's 6'1", he's probably going in the 2nd or 3rd round, right? That Jacoby Durant from that high school. So there's a pipeline there for South Carolina State, and they see something in Patrick Anderson. And personally, so do I, right? He's long, he's aggressive, great instincts. Like I said, ball hawk. And I can't wait to see how they develop him. He's going to be at safety, most likely. He's going to be at safety, but he's still an intriguing prospect. Most of these guys probably are going to get redshirted because they have the depth right now. But, they also had a few kids who could come in and contribute right away last season who were freshmen and redshirt freshmen. So we'll see. I can't call it for any of these guys. I can't guarantee anything for any of these guys. Next up, we got Mr. Ricardo Sprinkle, the 6'1", 260-pound defensive lineman from Orangeburg Wilkinson High School. So he is down the road from the school. He don't have to get a dorm room if he don't want to. This man can go home every weekend. He can go home every day and come to school if he wants to because he's right there in Orangeburg. So listen, deadly first step from Ricardo. Deadly. On top of that, he is just beautiful at shedding blocks. I absolutely love what I've seen in his tape. He's just beautiful. It's beautiful to see him use his hands the way that he does, shoot gaps the way that he does, and ends up in the backfield every single time. I love that about him. And, when I see a defensive lineman who can wreak havoc like that, I get excited. As a former defensive lineman, I get excited. Next up, we're winding down now at the bottom of the class. We got Mr. Quantre Harry. 5'11", 185 pounds, probably the smallest cornerback, but he's really not that small, just 5'11". And he is a cornerback from Lee Central High School. Now, when I watch Quantre's tape, I like him a lot because the speed, the agility, the quickness, everything reminds me of Tyrann Mathieu, right? He's a firecracker. He's a firecracker. And he really does not care to put himself in any position to make the play. As soon as he finds out who the ball carrier is, he goes just like that. There's no hesitancy. There's no waiting. No, he wants all the smoke with any ball carrier. It don't matter if you 6'3", 245. It don't matter if you his size. Like, he wants to smoke with you. And mostly he's going to win that battle when he gets to you because his leg tackling is really good. It's really good. Yeah, he knows how to get in there and get you on the ground. So I love that about Mr. Quantre Harry. I love how he incorporates his speed, agility, and quickness in his game. He does it very well. And I only hope, I know for a fact that he's going to go to South Carolina State and he's going to up his game even more. So look out for Mr. Quantre Harry. Now, this next kid is going to be really brief because he goes by the name of Derek Mathia Jr., 6'2", 185 pounds from Lakeview High School, and he's very athletic. There's going to be no tape for him for the simple fact that he is listed as a DB, but when I searched his tape, I could only see offensive highlights. I did not see a defensive highlight. Man, maybe that's on me. Maybe I just overlooked it or something, but there were a lot of offensive highlights. This is a defensive video. I wasn't going to show that. Not just that primarily, so I don't know what it is with him. Maybe he's an athlete. But yeah, Derek Mathia Jr. is there, 6'2", 185. He's a defensive back. Didn't see any defensive highlights, so it's not going to be on this video. Next up, though, Jayon Allen. Now, see, Jayon Allen, he's a special recruit for many reasons. Number one, he comes from a high school that I actually tried coaching at. I used to try my hand in coaching. I was at May River High School, which is the high school that he comes from. And I don't know, it's just because I was there, it's kind of special. It's kind of special for me. So Jayon Allen, 6'3", 200 pounds, 6'3", 200 pounds as a DB, right? And I absolutely love this dude plays, man. Like I said, May River High School, he's down on my end of South Carolina. Hard hitting, very instinctive, a real playmaker. You can see on that first play that I showed you in this highlight tape, my boy is going to make plays. He's going to find the ball, and he looks just like a beast doing it. Like, he has a build right now that can come in and contribute for the South Carolina State Bulldogs. He is another kid who I'm very excited about for that South Carolina State. It's him and it's Marquis. I just can't wait to see these two go at it. I really can't. So listen, you can really install packages for him on offense as well as defense because he's just a beast. He's a kid who you want in the thick of things every single play. On offense, you want the ball in his hands because he can make something happen. On defense, he's going to take over the game, man. You looking at a baby. I really don't want to say it because I know it's big shoes to fill. I know, but you're looking at a baby Jalen Ramsey. That's what you're getting from Jayon Allen. A baby Jalen Ramsey. He can really do it all, man. And oh my God, him and Marquis on both sides of that ball on the defense is going to be crazy. Like that, it is going to be nuts to watch these two take over the MEAC. But with that being said, you are watching the CFL podcast. This video is like 21 minutes long as I'm recording, but it didn't feel that long. Hey, thank you so much for tuning into this video. More content is on the way. If you want to suggest some stuff for me to talk about in a live, then, let me do so. Hit me up on Instagram, all that good stuff. I'll look at it and determine if it is what it is or if I should give my opinion on it. But with that being said, man, I go by the name of Kobe. I'm out. Peace.